Hello guys, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. My name is Let's Player Ultimate. Let's get the third episode underway. We're doing the final few endings in the game today. So, this loading screen, so slow. Why you load so slow? On a side note, it's getting to be that time of year in October. Got everyone got your candy? I got my candy corn. Candy corn.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
See? Candy corn.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was...
That's enough of my ongoing about candy corn.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the threat of total solitude was terrifying.
Yes, I know.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the employee lounge.
I know.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the right direction.
Nah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Maybe this is why everyone had left. No one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him. And since he was walking into the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, Stanley decided that he would punish himself. So when he
have
came
a
to
good
the
surface
elevator,
to put this
the
mouse
doors
on.
opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
Okay. Okay. We're going down.
Oh, Stanley. You know, you really aren't going anywhere, and I don't say that deceitfully. I truthfully mean that there isn't a story down
Then why'd you
here.
make it?
The story was back up where I told you to go in the first place. Right now, you're just running around looking at empty halls. And frankly, that's perhaps even more infuriating for me. So why don't you throw me a bone, give me a chance, and just let me tell the story I want to tell,
Maybe. Oh.
Listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I'm not following your instructions, Mr. Narrator.
Perhaps you misunderstood.
Huh?
Stanley walked through the red door.
This is the red door.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
The red... What? Fine. Whoa.
Good, good. Now, if you don't mind, there's something I'd like to show you. But to do that, I think it would be best for us to start from the beginning.
Okay. What?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Reminds me of the death of a salesman.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building. He
Ah.
was employee number 427.
We
His
went through
job
this.
pushing buttons demanded little of him, so there was not much of himself to give. And in this way, Stanley's job felt less and less like his every day. But if buttons need pushing one day, it means they'll need pushing the next and then the next. So without question or judgment, Stanley continued to do what the screen told him. One keystroke flowed into another keystroke, flowed into his ride home, flowed into dinner, flowed into waking up, flowed into going to work, and here he was again. Stanley was typing out a complete sentence that said absolutely nothing at all. If in reality no one ever actually disappeared from the office, and Stanley never got the opportunity to make a decision, to choose which path he wanted to take, would his life still have any meaning?
Maybe.
Perhaps when we long for something deep enough, these hopes and fantasies become so strong in our minds that we truly believe that we're there, controlling that person, and living that adventure.
I don't know
To
about
manipulate
that.
your own thoughts and emotions might mean freedom from a self-imposed prison, but these delusions can be fatal to those who can't tell the difference.
Very true.
And so, Stanley asked, if that door never opened, if I'll never be able to walk away from those people and from these buttons, is this life still worth experiencing?
Sure.
Am I actually happy? Stanley
Not
answered
really.
this question by pushing a button. Then he pushed a
Please
button.
die.
And then he pushed a button. Then he pushed a button.
Okay.
Then he pushed a button.
Okay. Thank you, Davey Reeden. I can't pronounce. Okay. Now back to our other one. Blue door.
Aha. Perhaps you misunderstood.
Blue door.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Blue door.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there?
Yes.
You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
What is this?
You see? It's nothing. No one's even built this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the
I
first
go
place.
mad at this thing.
It's just a bunch of skybox and dev wall textures. That's it. Is this what you were looking for? Was it worth ruining the story I'd written out for you?
Kind of.
I put a lot of time into that, and now you... Well, here you are now, just looking at nothing. To
No,
think that
it's
that's
orange and
all
blue.
I needed to make in the first place, just a whole lot of nothing, and you would have been happy. Well, hey, you still need a little something to do.
Yeah.
Am I right? Here, let me load up another map. See if there's something in here that'll keep you occupied. Ah, here's one.
I feel like
Let's
I'm
boot
talking
this
to
up.
someone.
We'll see if you like it.
Hello, Mr. Narrator, interacting with my game. That's kind of weird. Mr. Narrator. Ah, there we go. Node graph out of date. Okay.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? I don't know why it would be. This map wasn't even made for you. At least I created a world specifically with you in mind. I wanted to make you a leading man. This one, well, I'm afraid you're on your own there.
Recycle. Hello, Bottle. Bottle, no! Help! Dang it. Yeah, let's head this way. I have a can. No, I don't.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Whoa,
He probably only
uncalled
got his job
for.
because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That, or with drug money.
Hey,
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I am neither of those things. I don't need those things to be happy. Okay. Jeez, Mr. Narrator's getting all butthurt.
Hold on,
what?
Sport. I spent so long talking about you. Why don't we just take a break from that and talk about something else for a change? Let's see. Well, according to Wikipedia, more than 90% of the night sharks caught off northeastern Brazil contain mercury concentrations higher than that considered safe by the local government. Now, this is fascinating. Don't you want to know more about the night sharks?
Sure.
No, of course not. All you want to hear about is yourself, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of the story.
Well, fine. You haven't listened to me once so far. I can't expect you to turn that around now, can I?
Not really. Thank you for opening the door, Mr. Narrator. Take me to your later. Unresponsive. Oh, there's a ladder. Dirt to dirt. Move.
Is this the end of the line? I don't suppose this was a particularly fulfilling experience for you,
Oh, it's a hole.
considering not a single art aspect in this map. Wait. Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
See you later. Goodbye.
How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that.
Whoa. What is going on? Is that the ending? What am I supposed to do now? Kinda creepy. Well, it seems all the doors are open, but the story isn't going anywhere. Alright, guys. One more ending to go. I don't know if there was, like, something beyond that.
Stanley decided to
door's
go to
red
the
this
staff
time.
lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Really?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hey, get out of the way, door. It's like the
Stanley entered
crappiest
the
lunchroom
lounge.
ever.
He was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would
Okay.
find an answer there.
I don't know. I don't feel like seeing Mr. Bossman today.
Coming to a staircase,
Goodbye.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's see what's in the basement.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours.
Hey!
He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk?
Am I
All
just going in
because
circles?
he believed everyone had disappeared? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Maybe.
Everyone I know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it. And a nagging fear began to creep up in his mind.
I am getting kind of creeped out.
Questions that had been there all along. He just hadn't put his finger on them yet. For example, why couldn't he see his
That's a
feet
good point.
when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
I'm
And for that
magical.
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Was he just walking around in circles? Where am I, he thought. And the more he found himself unable to answer these questions, the more questions continued to arise,
Yeah.
until he came to the issue that had been slowly boiling until he could ignore it no longer. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Good point, too.
Suddenly, every door slammed shut. No, Stanley screamed. I need to get out of here. I need to know that there's something out there. I need to know it's not just all in my head. And he screamed and clutched at his skull
Oh,
as
crap.
the voice grew harsher and the music in the background rose higher and higher. And then, moments before collapsing to the ground, Stanley clenched his fists and screamed to
I'm
anyone
gonna
who
die.
might be listening,
I'm going
I'm
crazy.
not real! I'm not real! Don't believe any of it! None of it's real! And then everything went black.
Huh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She got dressed, went to work, clocked
That's
in,
supposed to be
clocked
me.
out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself. and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Moments after seeing him, she would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move. The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things would be to exist inside the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and
Pretty
pity
deep.
him. But Mariella had places to be and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
Probably she didn't add a little scream to that. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Stanley Parable. And I will see you guys later.